As we continue our month-long celebration of that which is pride, I wish to share with you something that is deeply personal and somewhat autobiographical. I wish to tell you some stuff, some of which I am not proud of. 3 years ago, I attended the 50th high school class reunion of my high school. And I walked down memory lane with classmates I haven't seen, some of whom I haven't seen since high school. My graduating class, if you can do the math, was 1972. And there were 300 students in my class. About half of them showed up for the reunion, which I thought was just amazing. And circulated at the event was sort of a historical folder that included people who had died, classmates who had died since graduation. And I noted that 20 of my classmates were deceased. The years of their death were placed beside their names. 3 of those classmates, Michael, Christopher, and Philip, died in their early 30s. That put their deaths somewhere in the late 1980s. 2 of them lived in San Francisco. 1 of them lived in New York. And the reasons for their early deaths were not noted, but I think I figured it out rather quickly, and I'm certain they died of AIDS. During high school, my circle of friends tended to be the athletic crowd, the jocks, basketball players. I played basketball. Tennis players. I played tennis. And we all knew that Mike and Chris and Phil were gay, queer, which in those days was not a complimentary term, but quite the opposite, right? And it occurred to me it had to be abysmally tough to be gay 50 years ago in a Christian high school in Holland, Michigan. Let that sink in. In a city filled with steepled churches. So here's what I really need to share with you. My friends and I never teased, never taunted, never ridiculed Mike and Chris and Phil. I think we did something far worse. We treated them as if they didn't exist. We ignored them. We never said hi to them, never included them, never acknowledged their existence in the hallway, never sat down next to any of them in the high school cafeteria, never asked about their lives, never listened to their stories, never asked them, how's it going? Or even, what did you think of that history exam? And wasn't that geometry test a killer? Never engaged them, never befriended them, never welcomed them. To me, they were invisible, non-existent. They didn't matter. So when I saw the 50-year class reunion folder, and all 3 of them, Michael, Christopher, and Philip, saw that they had died in their mid-30s during the AIDS crisis, I hoped for 2 things. I really did. I hoped for 2 things. One, that none of them died alone. And secondly, that somehow the universe could forgive me. That's the first story I needed to share with you. And here's the second. 8 years after high school, that's 1980, I was a rookie pastor in Queens, New York, serving a congregation that was part of the Reformed Church in America, the RCA. Classes in the Reformed Church organizational chart. And the classes regularly assigned seasoned pastors to coach rookie pastors. So my mentor was a single unmarried pastor named Herman DeYoung. And Herm was twice my age, and he had been serving his congregations for 25, maybe 30 years by the time I came on board. And he served a congregation in Queens in a neighborhood called Astoria, Queens. We met on a regular basis to talk about my experience in ministry and how it was going. He was a mentor, I was the mentee. What were my frustrations, he asked. I said, many. What did I find difficult? Everything. Herm became my spiritual advisor, my sounding board, and more importantly, my best friend and confidant. Herman taught me how to make hospital visits. Herman was the one who modeled for me how to take care of myself. Herm was the one who coached me in the art of putting together a congregational meeting agenda. I've forgotten about it, so don't ask me to do that. He taught me how to run Vacation Bible School. He taught me how to mix a really, really good martini. Yes. Herm was the one who tried his best, and he tried often to get me to appreciate classical music, but I never could get it. Don't hold that against me. We went to Jerusalem together for a 2-week intensive study. Herman was gay, howbeit a closeted one. And at that time in the life of the church, he couldn't come out, he couldn't go public, or he would lose his ministerial standing. And when Herm died in the 68th year of his life, just 2 years after retiring, I officiated at his funeral. I flew back from where I was pastoring and flew back and did his funeral to a mournful congregation and community. And there were church members and visiting clergy and neighborhood residents and no few street people to honor him. Herm's ashes were attended to by an elderly man named Elijah. And he was a church member whom Herman had rescued from sure, certain self-destruction. He had hands, honestly, he had hands twice my size. And I can remember vividly Elijah scooping up Herm's ashes and placing them softly under azaleas and boxwoods and hostas behind the church parsonage, and there Elijah wept. And I wept with him. Those are the stories I wanted you to hear and I needed to tell you. And I thought they were appropriate stories paired with the dream and the vision that Stan read for us this morning. I can't imagine more jarring verses to read from the 10th chapter of Acts. Peter has this dream that runs contrary to everything he thought he knew about being on the right side of God he loved. A sheet, a blanket, a canvas, a tarp lowered from heaven and filled with animals of all variety, all of them on the non-kosher, forbidden to be eaten by any respectable Jew list. Camels, badgers, buzzards, bats, crocodiles, lizards, pigs, every one of those animals on the do not eat list found throughout the book of Leviticus. And Peter hears a voice from heaven, says, "Get up, Peter, and choose any one of those forbidden animals, kill it, skin it, fillet it, season it, boil it, roast it over the flames, and then eat and be filled. For what I, your God, has made clean, you must not profane by calling it unclean." Nothing, no thing on God's menu can ever be deemed unclean. All of this, you see, was prelude, for Peter would soon meet a non-Jew, a Gentile named Cornelius, and his family, who had the same dream and would become members of that early New Testament church, outsiders becoming insiders, the once unwelcomed becoming welcomed, all because of God's menu. One of many examples in the book of Acts of how the early church flung open its doors and extended wide its arms and became a place of radical welcome and inclusion. No one excluded, no one shunned, no one made to feel less than who they were. Once deemed unclean, now deemed clean. And that, dear ones, is what we do best. We eat from God's menu. We don't have bouncers at the door checking IDs. We don't create spiritual obstacles for people to somehow work around. We lay out a welcome mat that suggests to all who walk into this place of worship that your spirituality has to be worked out the way you deem best. We eat from God's inclusive table every Sunday. I came across the name Brad Peacock this past week. He's a member of the LGBTQ community. He is a war veteran. He's a writer. He's a long-time organic farmer in Vermont. He wrote a piece called Our Anthem. You can scrub letters from websites. You can take away our health care. You can do your best to strip away our humanity. We will not be erased. You can continue your campaign of casual cruelty. You can burn these very written words and ban the books that mention our existence, but we will not be erased. We are loving sons and daughters and children. We are brothers and sisters and siblings. We are family. We are friends. We are neighbors. We are those who care for your loved ones. We are those who risk our lives for your freedom. We are the farmers who feed your families. We belong in every community. We will never be erased. And then he continues and closes with this. The sheet from heaven has descended, and the menu has changed to include what God has blessed and what God has pronounced good. May we continue to do the work and be the presence of the triune God, the God who is the mystery above us, the mystery among us and the mystery in all of us. And to my classmates, Michael, Christopher, and Philip, I hope beyond death we meet again. And if and when we do, I look forward to sharing with you three, eating off God's remarkable menu.